Hello, everyone. My name is Tim Mikhelashvili, CEO of Amadev Pharma, and also host of a fourth annual Medical Innovation Olympics event, MEO 2025, hashtag MEO 2025. That's what we're going to be talking about today. I'm here today with my special guest, expert judge, speaker, expert panelist, also a member of our board and steering committee of this event. And I'm absolutely honored to share this global opportunity with all of you today for the first time. Chris Piedmonte. I want to introduce everyone to him. Chris, welcome.
Thank you, Tim. I'm really glad we had some time to talk about this today.
Yeah, absolutely. So you had your first experience last year where you were instrumental in creating a very memorable shared experience. I'm quite partial to this because I'm a fan of innovation, uh, and I've been in the pharma industry for a long time. It's a tough road to innovation, particularly in an organizational structure and in our demanding industry. But we've had a strong track record, and so I'm gonna talk a little bit about what you experienced. But even before you were our expert judge and speaker, you had already contributed one of the most strongest competitors that we've had at this event 2 years ago, Oral Muscles, who walked away as champions and who've implemented their medical grade wearable in Olympic teams and professional teams across the globe. So we have quite a lot of alumni of the program, and a lot of it is thanks to you, Chris. So
you're very welcome. This is something that I'm passionate about. Innovation, as you said, is hard on its own. When you're working in biopharma or the medical field or medical devices or therapies, it's very challenging to get the necessary support in terms of personnel, in terms of connections, in terms of money for these types of ventures. The investors today, the angel investors, family offices, even VC, tend to favor software as a method of building wealth in ventures. They see medical and biopharma and all things related to health as high risk. And in many cases, they're right. But this work has merit and it needs to be done. And through the Medical Olympics that you've been doing, we get the opportunity to meet some of these companies that are doing this work and help them find the resources they need and potentially, hopefully, in some respects, make the difference between something that may not see the light of day to something that actually gets a shot.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about your background also? So that, because you'll be judging a lot of these competitors and also mentoring other attendees. Because I know you have, that would be helpful.
Be happy to. I mean, I have been an entrepreneur myself pretty much my entire career, just directly out of college. After, 10 or 20 years of working on my own ventures and participating in startups, I started to help others because I find this type of work, very exciting and very rewarding. You're taking on something very challenging. And when you succeed at that, it has its own, rewards. You've accomplished something that very few people can. So I have spent the last 15, 20 years now working with startups in a variety of fields. Medical is certainly one of them, but it's also included AI. I've even dabbled in fashion and food as part of the work I've done. So primarily, what I can bring to a venture is my vast expertise in the processes of getting a company started, finding the right people, making the right decisions when it comes to how much money should be raised, where that money should be spent, and how to go from an idea to an early version of a product or service, and then entering the market with that product or service in such a way that you have a reasonable chance of success. And, I've done work in medical devices. I've worked with companies developing antivirals, with cancer treatments, with other types of medical devices. You mentioned Oral Muscles, another one. Calagon also was a company that was funded by an angel group that I was participating in at the time.
Mhm.
So I do have a lot of exposure to this industry, and like I said, it's challenging. It's probably the most challenging space to do startups and innovation, and that's why I find it interesting, exciting, and that's why I'm here participating in your events.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, let's talk a little bit about who should sign up, uh, and why. What the format is as well, and provide some of your comments. This is a chance for you to ask questions. Those of you who are maybe considering, if you're in healthcare or in the industry, chances are you may have heard about this event. We market it through our own network that's global. We've had competitors from all over the globe. So we'll go over that a little bit, but we're live now on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube. So ask us questions. We have an expert judge here and a speaker who will also provide some of his bonus precious time to those who win as well. And so we can talk about that as well, Chris. But let me start with just some dates first of all. You can sign up today before May 26th to compete in the Medical Innovation Olympic Trials. Okay, so get in the games early. This is a chance for you to get to know the judges, the top competitors in each of the 6 innovation tracks we have now, as we've expanded this competition, will qualify for the main event, which takes place October. It's a virtual event, okay? And this year, the theme is Layer the Science and Leap with Defiance. We're making a lot of incremental progress in innovation from many different aspects. But just because of how quickly medical publications are changing how we apply them to clinical practice, we need to really make leaps, not just incremental steps. And we're looking for some of the best ideas, both concepts or products. Okay. And this is a 16-day event. Okay. So you're going to get to know and be able to apply different strategies. You'll meet our expert judges, as well as see what types of presentations work best and how you can just enhance them as you go through this kind of intense, probably the most intense pitch competition that you've been to, but also one that's transparent. You'll know why you're getting the feedback that you're getting. You'll get a lot of mentorship, learning opportunity as well. It all starts with the opening ceremony on October 6th. Okay. We'll probably have a full day of learning, introductions by competitors, attendees as well on October 6th this year. Early bird pricing ends July 31st. Okay. In terms of who can apply, so we're looking for ideas and concepts or products from everywhere in the healthcare system, right? From the industry, from life science consulting, from the healthcare systems, students. If you're a professional, student, consultant, fellow, resident, right? You have a concept that you've been working on, and you may have been hesitating about maybe presenting it to your decision makers or your organization. This is the place to do it. Get your approval from the organization where you work if you don't have proprietary rights to it, but you'll get 100% intellectual property. You'll keep that IP. When you sign up, there's a waiver. So yeah, that's kind of in terms of who should apply, who should submit. Chris, what are you looking for? In terms of what kind of competitors should be looking at this event.
I mean, from multiple perspectives, there's a lot of ways to look and talk about this, Tim. Let me see if I can address it. So from the competitors' perspective, from the those that are going to come and compete, present their ideas, and work their way through the trials and the judging that we're going to do to hopefully at the end, emerge as one of the top companies that have presented. The reasons for them doing it are many. One, you're going to get a tremendous amount of guidance and feedback during the 2 weeks that this is going to go on. This is, mentoring by myself and others that have experience in building ventures. It'll be mentoring by others that have started, challenging companies in the pharma space, in the medical device space, and other areas of medicine and biotechnology. All of that will help you refine and improve, your venture, both in terms of your understanding of how to do it and how to take it forward, and how to present it to other people, which, quite frankly, is key to success. You'll build relationships. You'll meet people that have had similar experiences, that have networks of other people that will be useful to you to help move forward, what you're doing. And then, of course, in general, it's the exposure. Many people will be, watching and participating in this event. They'll have the opportunity to see you, to hear what you're trying to do. And out there somewhere are people that are willing to help you, that have an interest in what you're doing, and will step up and reach out, hopefully, to further assist you in building this venture of yours. From my perspective, I attend once again for many reasons. One, of course, with my work at Neoterra Capital, we are looking for companies like this. Neoterra focuses on, the name says it really, Neoterra, new territory.
Right.
We look for things that have an element of the new. That can be new technologies, new drug discoveries. It can be new markets or new ways of doing business, or bringing medical products and services to market. So that is where our interest is, and that happens early. In other words, the things we look for are very early in their evolution. By the time a company is up and running and has got customers and is growing, it's beyond where we can actually help. Our greatest value is at the beginning. So that's one of the many reasons I attend this event. The others are some of the same reasons that people should attend and compete. You meet a number of very interesting, very capable people that will expand your network and give you access to things that you would not previously have had access to, including their advice and counsel. The other reason, quite frankly, is it's a competition. And there are elements of that do make it interesting and exciting. My wife in particular is fond of shows like The Voice. I don't know if any of you out there watch that show, but those types of competitions inspire people to do their best. It gives them the mentoring they need to improve, and some of them emerge and do go on to have careers. The same thing is true here. The idea is to take these competitors, help them refine and focus both their concepts and their messaging, and in the end, potentially go forward and realize their ventures and their dreams, and bring these products and services to market.
Yep. Yeah, that's very helpful, I think, to set the context here. So in terms of the format, if we go back to how these 16 days are going to evolve for the competitors. The first week, you will have one chance for a 10-minute presentation that you set on demand, okay, in front of judges. After you present your product or concept in a very short introduction at the opening ceremony. So the opening ceremony is there for you to just introduce yourselves if you're a competitor, okay? Learn, interact with speakers. So, and we're confirming lots of speakers. I'll share them, some of them, in a few minutes. But every week you have one chance to add your presentation to the agenda and invite your expert judges and attendees. All right. So there's voting at the end of the first week on October 10th. You'll have detailed votes for the concepts. The voting criteria are different than for products because they're, for the obvious reasons, because, when you're at a product, say you have to have more of a clear roadmap and a financial business model and, many other things that Chris can talk a lot about as well. And so we've thought about that this year. We have now introduced new criteria, but there are 5 criteria, up to 10 points each. 50 points is the maximum total, and we have 10 judges. All right, so who are our expert judges, along with Chris? Just a few comments here on our panel. Okay, all-star industry experts. Okay, so Rashad Massoud, he is a leading global public health at IQVIA. He just recently transitioned there from his previous appointment in public health at T.F. Chan School of Public Health at Harvard University. And he's done global quality and innovation work in healthcare systems in over 90 countries. Okay, so Rashad Massoud, Liz Delgado, decades of experience in medical affairs across pharma and biotech companies. Alastair Truger is our second investor as well in finance and tech. He's invested in microchips, in quantum computing, and he has an interest in life sciences as well. So if you have a particular product or concept in medtech, in particular, he will provide you with a lot of very practical, feedback. I've seen him at work, okay, at other pitch competitions, and with Chris and with all the other judges, I think you will find a lot of exclusive opportunities to take your products to the next level. Rob Adamowski, Vice President at Corcept Medical Affairs. He has sales, marketing, market access, medical affairs leadership experience, decades. Eddie Power, Sandra Walker, there are other medical affairs executives, okay, from Pfizer, heading up global medical affairs. Sandra Walker from Genentech and transformation and commercial analytics and medical as well. Genentech, Roche, GSK as well. Natasha Hansji, who also has a diverse experience in both sales leadership as well as in medical affairs leadership, where she is transferred over. In fact, she was on an expert panel last year with you, Chris, as well. So she'll be back. She's a fan of this event. And of course, we have Bart Zoni, who is currently a leader at Woven Health, previously Clinical Mind. He has decades of experience with startup mentoring on the agency side, in life sciences in the industry. And John Hemming, of course, is a PhD with just accomplished research and longevity, aging as well, from UK. And so he will be also one of our expert judges and speakers. Okay, here are some of our speakers as well. Okay, so a lot of the judges will also be speaking and sharing their insights. We'll have Chris Cook, who was our Olympic athlete. Typically, we have an Olympic athlete or a champion who opens the games and hands off the torch to the next keynote speaker. So he advises the NHS in the UK. He's a speaker for Microsoft as well, and just an inspirational athlete, and also another supporter of this event. Chris Cook. Gary Hamill, I'll just make a quick comment about him. He's a business innovation, management innovation lab founder from Silicon Valley with 30 years of experience in London Business School, college, a globally renowned speaker on leadership as well and innovation. So he's excited about the event. He'll be joining us virtually because he'll be in Arizona then. Now, a little bit of what you can expect in terms of the website and the registering. Okay, what are the steps now that you need to make as innovators, right, and champions in healthcare? All right, let me share a little bit about that right now. Okay, and I'll share with you the actual website. Okay. And just a moment here. Okay. So I'm gonna make sure that it's it's on. It's live now. The registration. It's been in fact live from April. All right. So here we are. So I'm going to post a comment on this live event here. Okay. So when you go to this website, okay, you can look at what the 6 innovation tracks. These are our 6 innovation tracks: drugs, devices, diagnostics, software, consulting services, professional services, and medical affairs, right? Clinical trials. It's a more of a category that spans many aspects of drug development, across different stages. Okay, medical communication, medical education, publications. If you have a concept that is at a stage where it's just a position statement, for example, right, or some research that you've done over the last year, right, since October of last year, because we're looking for the newest, latest ideas, then you can consider submitting your proposals. So previous competitors have been quite courageous. They've participated, they represented their countries, their companies, large organizations such as Takeda, Roche, Astellas, Menarini Group as well. Here are just some of the highlights of where the previous winners or even competitors who didn't even end up winning, but yet they've grown their companies, been recognized in the White House for their recognitions for public health. There are links to the playlists. So if you want to get a preview, right, into just how this, what's different about the spirit of this event, right, in terms of real-time feedback and the type of learning you can expect and the speakers, global caliber speakers, then you can click on those playlists. Now, very important date, okay, May 26th. Top 4 in each of the 6 innovation tracks. Okay, so 24 total, or top 12 concepts and top 12 products overall will advance to the Innovation Olympics, or to the main event. So this is why it's important this is why we're promoting this. We're talking about this, we're sharing this on YouTube and Facebook and here on LinkedIn. When you click this link, you'll be able to submit your ideas after you register. First step is really to register, to click here, register at the top right. Okay, then there are different types of registrations for students, for others as well. Okay, then the next step is to make sure you compete in the Olympic trials. Okay, why? Because you get a chance again to test your submissions, get a lot of feedback, right? Top 1 in each of the 2 categories will receive a full registration refund and also top seeded position, okay, in terms of the order of presentations and everything like that. We take competition seriously here and we celebrate competition, but also transparency. And as I mentioned, this defines the concept versus product categories. Okay, so if it's ready for deployment, it's a product, right? And if it was significantly improved or conceived since October of last year, then it qualifies. All right. Awards. There are 2 $5,000 cash prizes that Amadev Pharma will be distributing to our winners in the top product and concept. Okay. But there are also special recognition awards. There's a lot of the ideas and highlights will be captured, okay, in blog articles. We've highlighted them through Global Medical Affairs Professional Society blogs. Amadea will do that as well, and podcasts as well. So, okay, stay tuned for more podcasts as well. Okay. Now, in terms of the forum, this takes place asynchronously, on demand. Okay, whether you're a judge, you're a competitor, you're an attendee, you are providing your feedback, networking, and this is all done through the Hoover app, okay, which is used by scientific conferences globally. And then those that advance to the semifinals will then have a chance to present live. Okay, a 10-minute presentation once again. So this will be probably the third time the judges will have heard your presentations. So you have quite a few chances to really get it right, right? Now, what about the testimonies? Okay, so these are some of the testimonies from Olympic legends. Okay, Olympic gold medalists like Gary Hall Jr., right? In addition to Chris Cook. Okay, and I'm going to just leave them here. And since I've been doing a lot of talking here, maybe we can reflect on some of these testimonies and maybe go, what you would highlight, Chris, from how others have experienced it or how you experienced it. Again.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about the event is, there's so much that goes on, right? The talks, that you have, the speaker presentations are always interesting. John Hemming in particular is a very interesting fellow. Quite frankly, I would just show up just to hear him talk with some of the things that he's been doing in longevity in his previous career and some of the experimental work he's doing now. The panels are always interesting. We talk about subjects that are important and will be actionable information available to people who are building ventures or trying to figure out what to do with their concepts, how to take them forward. So that's useful as well. And then, of course, the opportunity to just interact with everyone. One of the nice things about the way this conference is run, people aren't siloed. You can reach out to people and have conversations with them, very much like you would if you were at a live event. And I've always appreciated that about this event as well. So I would strongly encourage people, if you have a concept, an idea that you want to explore, apply. If you're starting to put together a venture to commercialize a service or a product or a treatment or something else that you've created, but aren't quite sure how to do it or need help, apply. If you've gotten to the point where you're getting real interest and it's now time to figure out how do I fund this? How do I find people to join me in this? Take the time to apply. This event will help you in all of those things, and it's well worth spending the time to join us for those 2 weeks and participate.
Yep. Absolutely. So just to get into some of the kinds of speakers we've had, right? Again, you mentioned John Hemming. Right. Last year we had Bob Beeman, who's a world record holder. To this day, he holds the oldest Olympic record in the long jump.
Yep.
And he talked about how he's a champion of his own healthcare and how disciplined he is. Gary Hall Jr., was a type 1 patient advocate, an activist. In fact, he lost his medals as a result of the fires now since then. But, he was told by physicians that, he shouldn't compete anymore, after he was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Yet he persevered, got 5 gold medals, Olympic gold medals, 10 medals overall. And, and basically he celebrates this. He acknowledges this, the transparency of competition, the intensity of this competition in his testimony here, right? Okay.
Yeah, maybe I could say something about that too, Tim, because you're making an important point. Why is this a competition? Why the affiliation with the concept of the Olympics?
Sure.
In many cases, people don't perform well without the pressure to perform. There's something about knowing that I'm going to be judged, that it's going to be public, that I am going to be, evaluated on my own merits and compared to others, that tends to drive people to do better. And I see that in the companies that present, the ones that even last year, some of the ones that came to us weren't ready. They needed help, they needed work, but they realized that, they did the work. They, reached out to me and others to say, how do I improve this? Why did this not go well? What should I be saying that I didn't say? What shouldn't I say that I did say that, degraded my presentation? Help me get better at this. that to me is one of the key things about organizing this as a competition and the parallelisms with the Olympic events. The pressure to perform drives you to succeed far more than you would if it wasn't there. And that's one of the things about this that makes it not only successful, but I think unique in the industry.
Yeah, thanks. I'm so glad you pointed that out. Because look, I've been a host of this. I wanted to bring this idea to life because I had seen some great innovation, unique, events when I was at large companies like AstraZeneca, where you had a 3-month innovation event, right? And I remember how I lost myself during that time completely. I felt like very inspired and how active I was, and others as well, right? And most recently, I was a part of a pitch competition myself here on Long Island, which you attended as well. And
Yeah.
and even though I was so busy working on many different kinds of projects, the fact that I had to compete now, right, challenged me to a level of degree that helped me make very important incremental improvements to some gaps that I had. Even though I've had my company for quite a few years, Amedea Pharma, so I completely have been able to appreciate that perspective even more recently as well. So we kind of put people through a very intense experience, but very a communal type of Olympic village with a spirit of sportsmanship, right, that exists, and also learning as well, right? And what's different here is why we're very committed to having at least one Olympian is to share that that appreciation for competition, and also because we want to make sure that our competitors know why they are receiving the votes live. So they're getting the best quality type of feedback when it matters most, right? And where and the awards are announced also not behind closed doors when somebody comes out and just renounces the winners, but they're done right then and there, live in front of everyone, in complete transparency, like in a sporting event. All right, so that's here are some of our comments here. Okay, so yeah, so we have some so sign up for the Medical Innovation Olympics trials before May 26th. We mentioned that. Now, I did forget to mention that we're partnering with NY Bio, New York Bio. So this is NYU Langone affiliated innovation incubator, which I've been a part of as well. They have just tremendous amount of resources, a fellowship program, and pedigree. That's really exciting for us to receive a lot of ideas. In fact, some of the founders in that community, that ecosystem, have already signed up. Okay, so more to come on that. We're excited. So ideas are coming in. And also, there are many different reasons why you should attend, even if you don't compete. Maybe we should address that also, Chris. Why should people maybe observe and be a spectator?
Well, I mean, obvious reasons, right? There's so much information that gets, conveyed during this that you get to see, the presentations and the panels and everything that goes on. It's definitely worthwhile to even just observe, because you can learn so much just by that. That being said, participation does come with a lot more, and I would recommend it. I very much like the true Olympics. You're a small elite group that gets picked from a very large group, and you have to develop and practice and refine what you're doing so that when you come to the competition to present your venture, you've got that 5 or 10 minutes. It's very much like an Olympic event. You have a short period of time to take everything that you've done up to that point and succeed with it. And that aspect is, I think, what helps people get the necessary motivation and drive to refine what they're doing and distill it down to something where they can convey the nature of what they're doing in a holistic and complete way, in a compelling way, in just the 5 to 10 minutes that they're going to have to talk about what they're doing. So it's an important skill to develop. Certainly in the work that I do, being able to have someone clearly, concisely convey what they're doing, why they're doing it, and the value it creates is really important, because we see thousands of companies every year who want to talk to us, and we have to filter that down to a very small few. Having the ability to articulate it clearly, concisely, and in a compelling manner in a short period of time makes a huge difference in your chances of success in getting the attention of other people to help you. And this event will help you refine those skills.
Yep. Great. Well, that's a great summary. And before we wrap up, I want to just close this session with a quick preview of the actual interface. Okay, and for you to understand why spectators or competitors will have a very, very simple type of a platform that's familiar for you to interact with everyone. All right, to create polls. We've done trivia games and quizzes, right? They're for healthcare related as well. Gave out a lot of prizes. You'll have your idea page, right? So each one of you as a competitor will have your own dedicated page where you will have comments from judges. Okay. Whoops. Yeah, so let's click here. Yeah, so here are the comments in the chat. Okay. There are lots of community topics. Okay, polls, documents, exclusive documents and resources we share as well. All right. And as sponsors also, sponsors will have their own showcase pages as well. Okay, so as you saw some of the testimony there earlier,
is the medical
from Bart Zoni from Clinical Mind, the event allows you to really get to know the rationale behind these ventures, these products and concepts, and get to know the competitors over 16 days. In fact, we have 16 days in the Olympics as well. So we're staying true to the Olympic format here. So if you want to compete, contact us. See the comments for links. Follow us. Ask us any questions. And we look forward to accelerating access, continuity, and quality of care. That's our one mission for every single event. Okay. And so I welcome the anticipation, this period for Innovation Olympic Trials and the main event in October. Have a lot of surprises for you in store. So that's Chris. Please, if you can wrap up. Any other closing comments?
I mean, the only thing I would just encourage people, if you have an idea, if you have a venture, join the competition. If you want to learn about how to, compete in these types of events, if you want to see some of these companies and meet some of these people, attend and, participate. It is well worth your time.
Okay, great. Well, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. We have another session, Q&A session with Chris as well. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks for having me, Tim. Take care.
Yeah, pleasure.